Welcome to r/AskReddit by seenonreddit. Subscribe and like this video for more posts daily, and don't forget to click that bell button. What is the best decision you've made while drunk? I used to deliver small airplanes as a sort of side gig. The best part for me was simply being by myself, often for days, and just enjoying leisurely flights over the US. One evening several years ago, I'd had a few too many and invited my dad to join me on a 3 to 4 day trip to deliver some guy's new plane from the Northwest. Disclaimer: although I care about him, dad can be very stressful to travel with on long trips. So the next morning I was a little annoyed with myself for doing this. Due to medical issues, that turned out to be the last vacation he ever had, and we had a great time. I'd hate to have missed that week with him. We had a get together at my place a couple years ago, just me and 3 of my classmates. One of them recently broke up with his GF and was heartbroken. We got quite drunk, and they left the next morning, but said classmate came back for his charger and told me that thanks to what I've said the day before, they are getting back together with GF. I was glad obviously, but to this day I have no clue what I've told him. I was very drunk. They're still together BTW. I got really hammered one night and started missing my mom, even though I talked to her regularly because I lived very far away, so I didn't see her often. Apparently I called her and spoke to her for about an hour, according to my phone log. The next day, when I called her to apologize for whatever dumb shit I said, she told me that it was the most wonderful conversation she'd ever had, and that I made her feel so proud to be my mom. I have no clue what I said to her, and I never had the heart to tell her that I couldn't remember the call. She died 2 years ago, and I never did find out what I said to her. Not to carpool with my homie after a huge mansion party where we all got drunk. I had done it before, but got some smart impulse not to this time. After I took an Uber and got home to sleep, I woke up from my alcohol-induced sleep and found out from his mom that he ended up flipping the car into a canyon. The roof caved, he broke his neck, and ended up with what luckily turned out to be temporary paralysis. As thankful as I am that he's well and walking now, and just as functional a person as he once was, I'm glad I didn't take the car ride with him. Decided that maple leaves looked like little hands, and proceeded to high-five every tree I saw. Happiest night ever. Still high-five cute leaves sometimes, and give myself a good chuckle. Always wondered when I'd stop being a lurker and finally be compelled to comment. This is apparently it. When I was 21 I was quite the alcoholic, and I had started using cocaine quite frequently. It started to develop into an addiction as I was doing it alone at my house on a daily basis. One day I was drinking alone at home, and went to the gas station to pick up some smokes. On the way back, a high school friend of mine was walking his dog, and I picked him up. He wanted to smoke some weed, and so we went back to my place. He started talking about how he just got out of rehab, and was telling me about how bad addiction was, all of the signs, etc. He had no clue I was using coke. I very emotionally opened up to him, and ended up throwing a little less than an 8-ball into the trash. Haven't touched the shit since. To this day the decision to go to the gas station to buy cigarettes when I was drunk was the best one I have ever made. A friend and I were very drunk, and I was talking about how I wanted to get a dog. I've had them my whole life, but never one of my own. We browsed the local shelter's website, and I found one that looked and sounded perfect. The next morning, we went to the shelter. We were both super hungover, so much so that my friend threw up in the corner of their outdoor area. I met my future dog, played with him a bit, and told them I would be back the next day to take him home. And if I'm being honest, I was in that half drunk / half hungover phase. I went back the next day and picked him up. My friends kept asking if I was rushing into it, and I just brushed them off. 7 years later, we've moved 5 times, including across the country, and he's been my best friend the entire time. He's been the one constant in my life since I got him. Although I personally regret nothing, please do not get a dog on a drunken or sober whim unless you are 100% dedicated to move back home. We moved around so much that I didn't really have a hometown, but the place I ended up graduating high school from felt more like home than anywhere. I moved out of state after high school, became severely depressed, lost my job and my dog, and had literally nothing in life left to look forward to. I drank a fifth of Jim Beam one night after having a bad depressive episode and felt more homesick than I had in my entire life. I decided then and there to move back. I got up with one of my old friends. He helped me get decent job for a 19-year-old. We ended up dating, and now we've been married for almost 14 years. Life has turned out okay.